Hey y'all, how you doing today? I do not know if you knew this, but there is an official Heroes War Counterattack Discord channel where they actually take your suggestions and they try to submit them to developers and to the people that actually implement changes in the game. So if you're interested in that, you can actually join the Discord and then hop in that channel to pop in some suggestions that you would like to ask or, maybe see in the future. And that's what we're going to be looking at here in a second, because some suggestions are good, but there are some suggestions that are just there just to be there that don't make any sense at all. So we'll go ahead and debunk some of the bad ones and then buff up some of the good ones, kind of like we do with reviews on mercenaries in the game. Also, if you didn't know, on Saturdays now we have a community-driven straw poll where you could vote on content for Saturday's game. So you can see something different maybe that you want to see, hop in my Discord, pop a suggestion, I'll pop it in the poll. If it wins, I put it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it, so do that if you're interested. So anyways, yes, back to the official Heroes War Counterattack Discord, because we're going to look at some suggestions. Some of them are really, really good, and I would love to see them in the game. Some of them are really, really bad, and I feel like it would be very detrimental to the game's health to implement these changes that are being suggested. So let's just break them down one at a time. So here we have one that says, "This is not even a joke. This is a useless filling of space. Please consider increasing the amount, thanks." And yeah, that's absolutely true. 100 refinery points for 5 steel is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that should be 50, if not 100. I think it takes like 100 or 200 steel to make an exclusive equipment in the crafting room. And it takes, you get 10 exclusive equipment pieces here. It takes 60 of them. So you should at least buff that up to 25 to make it like on par with the exclusive equipment pieces. Moving on, we have a suggestion to add a damage tracker to the left of the screen during combat, not showing % damage dealt by each hero, but the actual number amount like the battle results screen at the end of combat, and even better if it also shows enemy damage dealt. This is sort of a suggestion like Recount on World of Warcraft, where you could just track your damage, and they go on to say it can be made click through so it doesn't get in the way of clicking heroes that are in the far left who are unlikely to end up behind it, or while they're unlikely to end up behind it. So you could still click on them if you need to. Watching those damage trackers during combat is very addicting, satisfying, and fun. Watching the results at the end of the match is not at all the same feeling. It also adds something extra to watch while fights happen on auto. I, for one, absolutely agree with this. Even on World of Warcraft, if you go into the mods, Recount damage trackers are the #1 downloaded thing, and that is a very fun thing to watch, especially seeing like how your units are performing, not only like overall, but at the beginning of the match versus in the middle of the match. If they drop off, if they ramp up, that would be very cool. So this suggestion is that we need improvement in the arena setting on defense mode. For example, skills on a hero that must take precedence so they are not bad on auto, because in general the hero uses skill 3 if it reaches range. Basically what this person is saying is they would like to be able to control the AI from a setting before the match starts, so that if like a unit like Bannon, if you really want to use their third ability first, you can pretty much ensure that they're doing that. Or if a unit like Econ needs to get their clone out, you can ensure that they get the second skill out first. Now this would be a very hard change to apply. Holy cow. Now this would be a very hard change to actually implement into the game, because the way that like the coding works for each, for example, I'm not going to get into all the coding of it, but even in the easiest language of Python, it still takes a lot of lines to be like casting third skill if available, if not 3 units grouped, cast second skill, if not 2 or more ungrouped, cast first skill. It's a lot of code that goes into that, and then having to do that for every single character would be a very rough time. So that would be a good change, but it's also a long-term project. Now this change was actually already implemented, so that's how you know they're actually looking at these suggestions. This one says nerfing selective summons is going to screw over new players so hard. Once new players figure out that it wasn't always like this, they're not exactly going to want to stick around, because how the selective summon, it was like temporarily changed to where you could only draw from a pool of like 5 units from it, but it's been fixed since then, so that was very good. I'm glad that they're actually paying attention to this. Now this is one of those that's just like kind of saying something just to say something, a little something that might be a huge quality of life improvement for some of us. Being able to upgrade gear from ×10 farming. I mean, being able to disassemble them right on the spot is nice, but some of us have a little inventory space available, and that would be even better to roll potentially usable ones. Less time consumed while sorting through it later. So the thing about that is like, if you're getting to that point where you're worrying about time consumption, the actual most efficient way to do it is to just farm on ×10 auto, repeat over and over, and not disassemble anything on the main screen, not power up anything on the main screen, but like fill your inventory to max. And then what you do is you cycle through your equipments, batch disassemble all your 4 stars, and then you go and you check for like undesirable ones, like make sure that something has attack speed. You want your dash to have attack speed. If it doesn't have attack speed, disassemble it there. And while like it would take maybe 10 minutes to do that after filling your inventory, it would take a lot longer overall to do that for like 30 seconds after every ×10. Now this one says new endless game content, also known as like endless descent into the sewers of Secret Institute. So just like any other endless ascent towers with 1,000+ floors. Now the thing about this is it's super duper pay to win. The people that are, you know, on top are definitely going to take advantage of all those floors and continue to be on top, which isn't really fair. I think the best way to do it is like Summoner's Ward does it, where there's 100 floors on a normal mode that are pretty, you know, attainable to beat. They have very good rewards and it resets every month. And then once you have that on farm and that's easy, you know, the tower with 100 floors goes to hard mode. And it has, you know, the same rewards, but you can just get them more often because you can do it twice a month now at a harder difficulty. And that resets every month too. Because a lot of idle games have this feature and it's the same thing, like, oh, I do 40 floors, now I'm stuck on 370. A week later, I can do 60 more floors, now I'm stuck on, you know, 430. A week later, I could do 5 more floors, 435. A week later, I could do 100 more floors, and it just becomes like an annoyance, really, to have to go through all those floors. Especially because you feel like something's stopping you. Like whenever you're stuck on floor 500 and you can't beat it for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, at least if it was like 100 floors and resetting, you could look forward to that in the future. Now, this one's very popular. Premium exclusive equipment crafting shouldn't give blue rarity equipment. We get plenty of blues crafting fodder exclusive to finally be able to craft 2 or 3 premium exclusives a day, only for them to be blues again and get scrapped. Now, that's definitely true. For the amount of exclusive equipment pieces it takes to actually like do that craft, it should be at least a higher chance. Like maybe not scrapping blues altogether, but definitely the chance to get purples and to get legendaries is not high enough. Like that needs to be buffed. Now this one, please set me up a trade center. I want to sell these amplifiers, and then like a recommendation of the gold amount sold. So here's the problem with this. Clearly, if this was a global account, then all of their time would have been spent like using these in the crafting table, right? Which is not the case. This is obviously an Asian server account. Now the thing about Asian server accounts is they have well over twice the amount of the time in game as we do. So it's very plausible that they have like max level 50 characters across the board, that they have like hundreds of these, as you can see right here. So what's the point in just helping this one person? It even says, set me up a trade center. Like the game is not about you. This is about bettering the game for the entire community as a whole, not just like to help benefit the minor few. Like you need to look at the all around, what's going to help the most players in the game. And this is absolutely unnecessary. Not only that, but if a new player comes into the game and they're able to sell these, not knowing like what we know about the game today, what if this new player ends up selling these by accident and now they're just soft locked? They soft lock themselves into a time gap. Now they have to spend time farming trivia and crafting because they didn't have the knowledge that we have to know that we're going to need these in the future. So this is a bad suggestion. This one, hello, could we have a way to export all our equipment in a file to use it in Excel, for example? Why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you need to do that? That is literally so much work for them to have to implement into the game. And not only that, they're totally fine with you using like, what are they called? Emulators on the computer. It's totally fine. They don't care. A lot of games ban you for using emulators. They do not. So while you can run this on a computer, it's entirely possible for you to use like multiple apps on your computer or multiple programs like screen readers and things like that to do this for you without them having to waste time and resources to implement it into the game. Like I guarantee you 0.01% people want this change. This is a very non-important change. This one is, this one's obviously just a glitch. But that's funny. Look at that. Whenever they like get a status ailment removed or gained, their text just doesn't go away. I think what they did is they reinstalled and it was fixed. But that's just interesting to look at right there. That's crazy. Big one right here. Make refinery reset every month. It becomes pointless after reaching floor 50. Absolutely it does. I 100% agree with that. And not only is it going to help us that already have floor 50 on farm, it's also going to help us, well, of course you could keep the auto refine in there. It's also going to help new players that, you know, like whenever you're stuck on floor 20 and it's just a pain because you're trying to progress and you can't get any more resources from refinery after refinery 20. Well, if that resets for a new player, now they can climb up to 20 again and then get all that stuff. And maybe they can push to 30 and 40 the next month. You know, that would be very good for everybody. This one's good. Please move end turn button away from skill 1. Every time I switch it back to skill 1, I end the turn by accident because the button is right next to it. I have fat thumbs. It makes manualing error very hard. I use Magnus skill 1. I'm sure you understand, yada yada. Basically what they're saying is the skip turn button is right next to the skill 1, and that cannot only happen to me and this person. I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. I don't think it would be hard to move that. Hi, please consider making the exclusive equipment one of the draw gacha features. It needs a pity bar. It takes a lot of resources. Yes. Okay, so how the SSR cards work, like after you get 100 of them and you haven't gotten an SSR, it's like, okay, guy, I feel bad for you. Here's an SSR in your 100th pull. This would be perfect for that. It's like, oh, okay, so you've done 20 legendary exclusives and you haven't gotten a legendary. Sorry about that. Here you go. I feel like that would solve a lot of complaints with the exclusive equipments. This one's good. Urgence, block people directly from chat. Yes, thank God. There's like people, okay, listen. There's people that play this game, and then there's people that are coming over from Summoner's War that play this game. And I like to objectively compare units sometimes, but not every single minute in the chat am I like, oh, well, in this game, Summoner's War is like this. This character is like this character. Oh, Summoner's War does this better. I play Summoner's War. God, so annoying. Frackin' Jesus, we need a block. Increase time for events like 50% energy for Isard to start at 2300 my time. I only farmed 1 hour. So what this person's saying is like with their time zone, with the way their schedule works, that they're not able to get in for the full duration of trivia or the full duration of, you know, double gold bonuses for the hot time. Very easy fix, just make it 24 hours. I don't know why I log on at like 10 a.m. and it's like, oh yeah, today is freaking double gold in the story, but it starts in 6 hours. It's like, okay. So then it also goes from like midnight till what, 7 in the morning? Why? I'm sleeping then. Don't just make it 24 hours. It's not a big deal. This one, global boss would be awesome. Maybe 5 attack per week. Now that's hit or miss. It's just like rewards. I'm pretty sure the way they would implement this would be, again, like I'm saying, not everything has to be compared to Summoner's War, but Summoner's War has this feature in it where it's like the world boss or whatever, and you hit them like 3 times a day or something, and you get a score at the end of the week, you get some gems. It really becomes a chore. It super duper becomes a chore, and you just end up not doing it because it's a waste of like your time. So if you were going to implement this, at least make it fun, you know, interactive maybe, and some, you know, various rewards, not just gems. This one, please increase account level cap from 60 to 120 and super boost cap from 50 to 60. Now, I can roll with 60 to 120. That's a freaking huge jump, which would never like be in a game. I don't know if this person has ever played a video game before, but even on WoW, you know, it went from 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90. Like every other game does it in increments of 10. I don't know how they would just jump all the way to 120. That's wackish. Yeah, increasing it to 70 would be fine. As for the super boost cap, absolutely not. Again, if you're on a different server that has like almost a year playtime, sure, that sounds good. But you know what, COM2US, you shouldn't be looking at what your minor servers want. I understand COM2US is like an Asian-based company, right? It's Asian-based, owned by Tencent. Tencent is an Asian-based company. That being said, whenever you release a global server, this is what companies don't understand. It's not about the North American server. It's not about the Asian server. It's not about the European server. When you release a global server, that is saying this server is for everybody. This is where people of all countries can come, find their own channel, find their clique, find their niche, and just like grow together. So why do these games release early to other countries? Wild Rift is doing this too, and it's going to cause the whole same problem. Like, just wait. Like, if you want a test country, okay, listen, there are games that release to other countries for testing purposes and beta purposes. If you want testing, you need a test server. Games have this, where like you can roll on a test server. They get all the updates early. They get all the new champions early and they can test them out. But the reason they're there is to send bug reports. If you want to implement full changes into your game as a whole, a global server is the absolute representation of the player base of your game, not just catering to the minority of smaller country servers. Or smaller population servers based on their country. This person agrees. It's too soon since we have a ton of mercs who are not 50, but yeah, to increase the account level cap. Again, the exact same thing I just said. I said, yeah, increase super boost levels just because many of them can improve their level 50 mercs. But yeah, might be too soon. Suggested to super boost per arena in Asian server. Many already have all 5 at level 50. This is what I'm saying. There's a conflict of interest. No one cares. No one on global cares about the arena board in Asia server. No one in the Asian server should care about the arena board in global. They should be separate. Like, stop. You goofed that whenever you release the game early to other countries. But that doesn't mean that their opinions aren't valid. They are. just in account progression, entirely not fair to take account progression advice and suggestions from account that have well over 2 or 3 times the account progression that the global servers do. Moving on, that's a big one for me. Okay, please make more events with legendary exclusive equipment boxes. Okay, we're limited because of lack of legendary exclusive equipments. Either that or change how crafting works. Again, see, we're bringing up the legendary exclusive equipment thing over and over and over because it's a trend, and you can see by the thumbs up that a lot of players agree. So if you're going to implement some changes, definitely do some quality of life legendary exclusive equipment changes. This is a good one. Add more sweep functions to repetitive daily tasks that have limited entries. It should not just be the battle center. And I think the community manager agreed with that too. It's like, why can we just sweep the battle center? But I'm not saying we should be able to sweep trivia. Like, obviously, that's where the gear comes from. That's where the best equipment comes from. It wouldn't be fair to just sweep that. Like, if you have 1,000 energy, just do like a times freaking 100 sweep. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, for the daily things like experience battlefield, gold battlefield, maybe even, well, I wouldn't say mercenary missions because they change every time, but the ones that don't change and the ones that aren't trivia should have a sweep. Here is one. Increase guild member capacity from 30 to 40 or 50, or make it depending on guild level. Reasoning for this, many active members from the lower level new or once active guilds are also leaving the game, as their guild does not have many active members now. The top guilds who have mostly active members are most of the time completely filled. If the member cap is increased, at least the active members in those inactive guilds can join active ones and will stay active. Even if the increase is 10 members per guild, that's 50 members increase. Okay, so we're about to get into the math. I already scrolled to the bottom. It says Asia server. Oh my God. Okay, in the global server, we have like 5 main guilds, all right? We have 5 top guilds. I think only 2 of them are full. We were the #1 guild for practically all of raid boss, and we are missing like 7 members right now. So the top guilds in global do not have this problem. Stop making suggestions for the global servers for problems that don't exist. Okay, so this is absolutely not true. One, if you can't find a guild, you know, that's because people aren't making guilds or because you're being too picky, because there's a billion guilds. It's very easy to apply. Or if none of them are active, make one and make it active. You know, make a Discord, interact with your guild members. I am a huge guild leader on World of Warcraft. We never hit top. We're never like top raiders, top PvP. But what I do is I invite people to my guild with like interests as me, you know, people that are just having fun, and we just have fun together, and it's a guild and we grow together. Like, not everything has to be about being #1. Not everything has to be about, you know, just implementing changes just for the sake of implementing a change that might be helpful to 1 or 2 groups of people. This is not a good suggestion, objectively based on the fact that global servers do not have this problem. Problem not gold, but the Merc coin shop in the SSR promo card is a high cost, around 55,000, which takes me a long time to buy if I'm lucky with collecting coins. Since I am new, I think that's the point. So it's 55,000 because you can get like 55,000 a week, and you do that if you're a good player. So it pretty much hands you SSR promotions out the wazoo. You get them in arena just for doing arena, whether you win or lose. You get them for your SSR tokens. You can get them for SSR tokens. You can get those free to play. This is really the only promotion card that takes any effort or value of the player to obtain, and I think that that's fair. Like, it seems like a high cost whenever you first start, until you start doing, you know, 1 million guild raid damage, and you're like, oh wow, okay, I got 55,000 very easily. So yes, I don't think that is a good idea, because you still have to reward, even though it's good to cater to everybody, you still have to reward your loyal players. You can't just give everybody everything for free. Some things need to be worked for, and that's why a lot of in-game players are getting bored, because they're feeling like there's no reward. And last but not least, the biggest one. You advertise other COM2US games on Heroes War, yet you don't advertise Hero War on those games. Can you push an advertisement? I've never seen one. I'll even make it. This is true. I see Summoners War ads on games for like a League of Legends stream. I see Summoners War ads all the time. I've even seen Skylanders ads. And like, Skylanders was the biggest bomb of all time. They're just doing good now because they remade the game. Can you put out a Heroes War ad? I've seen how much it costs. It's not that bad, you know? Plus, I'm pretty sure that your bosses would be fine with that. If you're like, hey, our player base is kind of meh, you know, we're not really pulling people from our Facebook interactivity posts. If you just want to drop $1,000 for, you know, $1,000 a day for maybe a week for YouTube ads. It's only 7K. That's really nothing to COM2US. So if you're having a problem with that just on your budget as Heroes War, then maybe like it's because that COM2US doesn't care about you, and that should be brought up in a board meeting. And that's pretty much it. So these are the suggestions that I've seen for this month. I went through them. Definitely a weird place this Discord is. There is a lot of sensitivity in here. If you join this Discord, you kind of have to tiptoe around like these 3 bulldogs of people that are just like, they're just like puppets in the Discord. They're there to, you know, promote goodwill, promote good cause. But the second you say anything they disagree with, they'll absolutely lose their shit on you in the weirdest way possible. This one dude, I saw him, he had to change his Discord name. He actually changed his Discord name because these 3 people bullied him so hard. So if you want to submit a suggestion, this is a good place to do it. But if you want a place to chat and hang out and not have any weird little crazy freaking drama going on, you can join my Discord. We have new players and veteran players in there alike that like to help each other out and, you know, just drop a meme. You know, we have fun basically. But other than that, y'all, that's going to do it for me today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Holy shit, look at this fucking guy. He's so fucking mad. Oh my god. Holy cow. Look, he's still typing. What a fucking loser. Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay, we'll get into this later.